And we're live. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being with us this morning. Tom and Shane, Business and Politics. Happy to be with you. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Shane, welcome. Happy to
Well,
have
thank you.
you with us.
Thank you, Eagle Man, and an early happy Thanksgiving if you can get the food you want to eat.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what we want to talk about today. Not necessarily Thanksgiving, but everything you touch, see, or smell in the United States of America is a mess. It's a mess, Shane. It's a total and unbelievable mess. I've never seen the country like this before. Never seen it like this before.
I can't recall it being this bad, except it was pretty bad after the Kennedy assassination. It was pretty bad after Watergate and having to get rid of Nixon. It was definitely bad with Johnson and the Vietnam War. So keep going, Shane. It was really difficult with both Bushes because of the Middle East and the wars they fought over there.
Yeah.
Dad did better than son. He had an objective and got there and left in 7 days.
Yeah.
And so I mean it's a tempered. It's like the climate.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody thinks it's terrible. We have a very mild November here, and in 2 days we had 2 feet of rain in over the weekend on Sunday and Monday. 2 feet of rain. Every highway from Vancouver is west is washed out, and it's because it's so mild November. That would have all that rain would have been snow, but it just whatever snow was up there, it melted, and then it all came down at once. It's just everything is a mess.
Well, it is. It is totally a mess. The border's a mess. Inflation's a mess. Immigration's a mess. The economy's a mess. I can't think of a single government agency you can point to that's not a total disaster, Shane.
It's like you're dealing with so much incompetence. This whole issue between Harris and your president, Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday they had this supposedly great signing thing for the $1.2 trillion, 560 billion infrastructure, whatever. They toss these numbers around, like dice. And it's just infuriating because they keep lying to the public about everything they're doing. These two can't get along. Her office is complaining that he's giving her too difficult of problems to solve and she needs a win. She can't win at anything. Seriously, she didn't get to where she is by talent. Well, not the talent we would like her to have had, but she got it.
Yeah. No, exactly right. It's such a mess. Border crossings up 128%. At least, I thought the end of the month they were supposed to. The end of October, I thought they were supposed to do the stay in Mexico deal.
Oh no, they just had that great senator from Texas with the Homeland Security, Mayorkas. He couldn't answer any questions, but he did answer a couple. There will be over 2 million illegal immigrants allowed into your country, and that doesn't count the getaways, which is probably another 250,000, 202,000. And Mayorkas is like comes to the Hill as Secretary of Homeland and can't answer simple questions. It's the incompetence is so overwhelming that it's one thing to run for election, which even in the basement they can do well. But governing is a whole different thing, and that is not going in any way, shape, or form in some reasonable structure. And so, you're led to believe that everything is going to be okay, and everything in the cycle gets worse every day.
Yeah, it's really amazing. We reported last week, I think, 68% of the 68% don't want Biden to run again, and that's 20% of Democrats. And they're talking about yet another bill. They've already spent $10 trillion on COVID and giving us free money and all of that, and then they pass this this infrastructure bill, and now they want to pass another one. And I I realize we have sovereign money. We can print as much money as we want, pay any bill we want, but still, there's got to be a limit somewhere as to what you can do with this stuff.
Yeah, and that's why we keep recording and reporting, the Treasury auctions on Tuesday on our Saturday show. So you can visit us there because, there's a real issue here. The actual monetary currency of the U.S. dollar is $1.8 trillion. Well, they've maxed that out like by 8.
Yeah.
And
they're like the bank. You take $1 in, you loan 8 out.
That's right. Worse,
exactly what they're doing. That's what they're doing.
So now you're going to have literally a currency shortage. Dispersing all these funds for all this stuff. If people want to go in the bank and get cash, but of course most people don't. They use credit cards or debit. Yeah. And that's why that's the only security that your government has about spending this kind of money is there won't be a run on the bank for currency. Yeah. And I'm concerned about that as a real this is what happened in 1929. People ran on the bank, and the Fed didn't have any currency in the banks across the country, and that's why banks started failing because they had no actual money to hand out people, and it could happen again very easily.
Yeah, well, we're looking at the highest inflation rate since 1990. We're talking about Bill Clinton days, if you want to go back to there. 6.2%, and actually that's the reported, but I think it's way more than that when you talk about stuff on the grocery shelves and gasoline.
It's probably 11% easy because you got the move on food and gas has just been and only in 8 months. I mean, you've got 3 more years of these two people to deal with.
I know. That's the bad part. Well, the one saving grace, I guess, courts stopped OSHA, the 100 employee mandate. They put the kibosh on that, so that certainly helped. But California turns around, and this morning they're reporting that if your kid isn't vaccinated, he ain't going to school. He or she ain't going to school.
Or McDonald's.
Or anywhere else in the United States. So it seems that, Shane, the latest reporting, the state has decided that they know more than parents do. So parents are just, I don't know what they are. They're just watch keepers of their kids. They're just kind of babysitters.
Well, it's just that the aggravation that the American people are settling into. Of the reality that government couldn't get the power they wanted because of global warming they did with COVID. And it's really sad because they've robbed so many people of their rights.
Well, no question. I mean, look how many businesses went out of business for the lockdowns Florida, I don't think locked down at all, did they?
Nope.
Yeah. And, they've got less cases than New York and California and whatever. The kids are going to school unmasked. Kids are going to school unvaccinated. Some are probably. Some parents are probably vaccinating their kids, and others have decided not to. And but whichever is right, they're still, they're still in school. They're learning. Depending on what they're learning, but they're learning something.
Well, I think in Florida, you're probably pretty safe because he's passed laws. He's outlawed, the critical theory, and let's put a point on this. This whole thing about critical theory is that it's a theory. It's not a fact. Yeah. And if anything, it should be taught in school is facts, not theories are great for later. Excuse me. For junior and junior and senior kids and on into college, that you learn about theory and it's being developed, but it's science, fact, and history that should be taught in schools. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. Those are facts.
Yeah. Well, we learned all about slavery when I went to school. When I went to school, as old as I am, the Civil War was about 100 years old or less than 100 years old when I went to, in 1965, I was in college. So that was 100 years after the Civil War. But we learned all about the Civil War. We learned about, Lincoln freeing the slaves. Lincoln. One of the reasons Lincoln wanted to free the slaves is because he thought they would go back home. He thought they didn't like being slaves here; they'd go back to Africa
Well,
or wherever they came from.
and historically, there's over 500 books written about Lincoln and the Civil War.
Oh yeah.
And most historians agree that his whole position was to save the Union. Yes, he did finally free the slaves with the Emancipation Proclamation, but before he even took the oath of office, the South had started to secede, and you talk about, taking office in Washington in the modern age. Can you imagine Biden taking office and like 20 states seceded from your
I know.
country? Like, that would be outrageous.
That may happen.
I mean, a perfect example of that rots my oranges is 15 of your states that have the worst inflation rates are red states. Oh, yeah. Isn't that interesting? I mean, is that
blue states? I think you mean blue states.
No, red states. No, red states. 15 of your states that with the worst inflation rate is Republican states, and that's a big surprise. And that the Treasury Secretary and everyone else, they don't want to speak to because of course where it's at. Yeah. So you compound this. If you could go 9 months ago, fill your car with gas. Go to the store and buy some essentials, bacon, eggs, milk, bread, butter, and stop off and pick up, something for the kids and go home. You can't even fill your gas tank with $20. So, I mean, Americans feel it every day. And if this continues, you see these polls. I mean, he's at 41 on approval, 51, I think he's doing a terrible job. 41% of she's at 31. I mean, you can't get worse than this. Well, it will get worse.
You can.
It will. No, it will. Yeah.
Linda says the key word here is intelligent life in charge of our country. There's no intelligence at our White House. Our country's economy is a Democrat disaster. And I'd argue if I could, Linda, but I think you're right there because, man, it's a mess.
And, she just split up. She just split a pea on the target with an arrow like that.
Yeah. Well, Kamala, of course, went to France, blew her her fake French accent, and her staff's in. No surprise that her staff hates her. I mean, everybody does. I mean, nobody likes this woman. She's just unlikable.
There are several commentators this weekend making jokes about the fact that there's on the internet now, there's a site you can go to and they have 10 hours of her laugh. If you really want to ruin someone's day, text them
the
that.
YouTube channel. Yeah, you can go over to YouTube and listen to her laugh for 10 hours if you want to do that.
And the terrible thing about this woman is she will laugh at things that she shouldn't.
I know.
She'll laugh at a difficult question because she doesn't want to answer it. She'll laugh at something that's terribly wrong, which, I mean, again, it's just there's no really implied effort except the rhetoric that Biden reads from a teleprompter or attempts to read that gives you any comfort that they actually care even. It's very sad.
Well, I don't even see a semblance of caring about the people. I mean, they dodge these bullets, on all this stuff. They were supposed to do the stay in Mexico thing. 170,000 people came over in October, and that's just the ones they know about.
That's right.
I mean, and they've got the money for the wall. The wall's paid for, and it's sitting there,
right?
Not being constructed, and it's just sitting there rusting. And there's no there. What does it hurt? What does it hurt if the wall's there, Shane? What does it hurt?
Because they don't want to be found to be wrong. That's it's more important to be always right.
Yeah.
Because that's the news cycle. That's the perception they want to create. And living with the reality of making wrong decisions and not doing anything about it, they can just live with. They just figure, people forget it. The Americans have a short memory. And the Democrats really believe that.
Yeah. Do you think if Americans were fleeing to Mexico, that Mexico wouldn't put up a wall?
No, I think if Americans were fleeing to Mexico, they would welcome them with
open arms. You think so?
Because the American dollar they would be bringing.
Well, let me ask you this: what if it was the Americans that are camped out on street corners in tents in San Francisco? Would they welcome those guys with open arms, with no skills and drug
I don't
problems
think
and mental health and everything else? You're going to tell me they're just going to let them in and have fun? Kumbaya, come on. Yeah. We'll build the campfires everywhere.
Yeah, I don't see that happening either, unfortunately.
Well, I don't see it happening, but I'm just saying, wouldn't Mexico defend itself? Canada would.
Well, of course
Canada didn't put up a wall when all the Vietnam guys went to Canada, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, we're one of those countries that we want everyone to like us. So we don't want to step in the mud. All right, we'll roll in it and fight in it, but we don't want to step in the mud.
Yeah, absolutely right. Right. So, well, we're preaching to the choir when we're talking about this place being a mess. We talked a little bit about where's Kamala. I mean, she's. I can't imagine a least effective vice president. Might be Dan Quayle, maybe. I don't know.
Well, Quayle got hit with a bad thing because he couldn't spell potato.
Well,
but that's what ruined him, right?
I know it is, but I wonder if she could spell it.
I don't think she knows what a potato is.
Well, I don't know.
She's a vegan.
She may not. So, well, I don't know, man. We're sitting here, in the freest country in the world, supposedly, but the state seems to say, well, you can't go here unless you got this, and you can't go there unless you have that. And, it's, I don't know. Well, the answer is get these people out of office. That's the answer.
Well, hopefully. I mean, you're dealing with a policy of dualism. Do as I say, not as I do. You've heard that byline.
Oh, sure.
It's a good one. It's a catchy one because it's real. But when you're dealing in a government situation with dualistic concepts, say one thing and, as we've heard before, and do another, it's confusing to the public. It's confusing to the people that work in government. So it's even confusing to business. You take, for instance, now Walmart, one of the biggest retail giants in the world, largest employer with Amazon. And now they're going to compete with Amazon because they can deliver anything and everything in their stores. They have the best inventory computerized system globally. Sure. And they, swept the floor by bringing in food to all their stores 15 years ago. And now are the biggest, retail food store chain in the world. So now they're going to offer everything. It's like Amazon. Well, now Amazon has a real problem because, you just go to Walmart and you can get anything, and they'll order it online, and they're going to have keys.
Yeah, you can do everything a Walmart can on Amazon. So
that's right. So they're going to have keys in Walmart like they do for you checking self-checkout, where you'll go in. If you can't find it in the store, you can go to one of these keys, order it, and it'll tell you when it'll be there, probably within 48 hours based on their their
depending on where you are. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah. Hey, if you like what you're hearing, why not hit the subscribe button? It's down in the lower right-hand corner or down below the video. Just hit the subscribe button and ring that notification bell. You'll always be notified when we're going to be on again. Like us and leave a comment about today's podcast. What do you think about what we're doing here today? And also, these are brought to you by StreamYard. This is how we create these podcasts. There's a link to StreamYard in the description below on YouTube. So check that out. And boy, it's a, what a mess, Shane. What a mess.
And it won't get better. It won't get better by Thursday, folks. So come back and learn more.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I'm sure between now and Thursday, they're going to screw up royally some other way. So
exactly.
We are definitely going to be back on Thursday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. So
you got it.
By all means, we hope you'll be here with us. And You know, there's just, you know, this is a dream for us that they're screwing up so badly, but it's, you know, for us to be here. But you know, I would rather have something really boring to talk about government. About gee, they helped a bunch of people. Gee, people got jobs. Gosh, kids are going to school
They actually,
learning.
they actually have shovel-ready jobs. You know, they will get something done. No.
Yeah, no. Well, not till 22 anyway.
That's right.
Yeah, that's going to be quite an election, but people have short memories. What's happening now, they may not remember in November of next year. So,
well, it's not going to. It'll only be worse. It'll only be worse by then, Tom.
Well, we can. If it is, we'll be here to talk about it.
Yes, we will be.
All right. That's going to wrap it up for us, folks. Thanks for being with us. We really appreciate it, and we'll see everybody on Thursday. Thanks for watching.